Two fatal crashes on Thunder Bay's south side, less than 72 hours and just a few blocks apart. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Two separate auto-pedestrian collisions in recent days have resulted in tragedy. Police confirmed the latest fatality today. Vasilios Bellows joins us in studio. Vasilios, the two incidents happened at nearby Simpson Street intersections.
That's right, Ryan. The first fatality occurred after a hit and run involving a pickup truck. The 58-year-old driver has been charged with failing to stop at an accident, resulting in death. The second fatal collision happened last night, just a few streets over. No charges have been laid, and that investigation continues. Two pedestrian deaths on Thunder Bay streets within just 72 hours.
It's a tragic event, and we're saddened by the loss of life.
Two Thunder Bay residents are dead after separate south side auto pedestrian collisions. The first happened in the Simpson and Prudence Street area Thursday night and left a 25-year-old Thunder Bay man dead. The vehicle fled the scene, with police releasing this surveillance footage to further the investigation. It led to the arrest of 58-year-old Mario Ricci of Thunder Bay, who now faces a charge of failure to stop at the scene of an accident, resulting in death. Traffic Constable Tom Armstrong says public support was crucial in this investigation.
Thanks to the many community members, the businesses, the citizens that reached out and that helped us with this. I want them to know that led to a very quick and I guess we'll say successful resolution to this case. And then, like I say, that public support was paramount.
The second death happened Sunday night at the Simpson and Leith Street intersection. A 67-year-old female pedestrian was transported to hospital, where she died from her injuries. The driver in that collision remained on scene. No charges have been laid, but the investigation remains ongoing. With two fatalities so near each other, Armstrong explains police are called to that area fairly often.
We've certainly have had a number of collisions. Auto pedestrian collisions aren't uncommon there. It's a high traffic area. You'll have a decent amount of pedestrian traffic. You have a lot of vehicular traffic through there, and unfortunately, we've had a couple major incidents have happened very close to each other.
Armstrong reminds the public to remain vigilant on roadways, especially at night. Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
One of four people charged in a murder of a Thunder Bay man in Westfort more than 2 years ago has been sentenced to life in prison. 22-year-old Michael Gomez from the Ottawa area pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received his sentence on Friday. The body of 33-year-old Jordan Lapointe was found inside his Frederica Street home after first responders were called to a fire and explosion at the residence on October 3rd, 2021. 5 days later, city police confirmed the death as a homicide. Lapointe's family put up signs on the home calling for justice in the horrific case. Along with the mandatory life sentence, the judge ruled Gomez will be ineligible for parole for 18 years. Three other co-accused also face murder charges in Lapointe's death. They're expected to stand trial by jury later this year. Two more young teenagers have been arrested for arson in connection with the destruction of a school in Ebmetung First Nation. That means 4 teens are now in custody. The fire broke out just after 7 o'clock Thursday morning. Anishinaabe police formally announced the charges today. Two 13-year-olds, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, have been charged with arson, mischief over $5,000, and possessing incendiary material. The 17-year-old is also charged with possessing break-in instruments and assaulting a peace officer. The 4 teens, who can't be identified under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, remain in custody pending a court appearance tomorrow. The investigation into the fire continues. The Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce is asking City Council to make it easy to invest here. That's part of its video deputation that the Chamber hopes will influence Council budget decisions. The deputation highlights the contributions of local businesses. It notes commercial and industrial property owners pay about twice as much in taxes as residential contributors. The Chamber argues those high property taxes bring challenges for businesses already struggling with expensive overhead costs. President Charlotte Robinson says high taxes don't just affect businesses already in Thunder Bay, but those considering coming here.
having a high tax burden means that maybe businesses don't want to actually come here and set up here. So we want to make sure that councillors have that context. And really, we know that this council has said they're really wanting to focus on growth. And so they need to remember that taxes are a barrier to growth, and a high increase is a significant barrier to growth. We want them to keep that in mind.
City Council has its first of 4 budget deliberation meetings tomorrow evening where changes can be proposed to the spending plan. Some Ontarians will soon be able to pick up printer paper or a laptop and renew a driver's license or health card all at the same time. The province has outlined its plans for Service Ontario outlets inside Staples stores. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
A change of scenery could be coming as you wait to renew your driver's license or health card. 9 Service Ontario counters are closing in favor of these new versions inside Staples stores.
Staples Canada was selected among dozens of other potential partners. They met the criteria of customer excellence, community presence, cost effectiveness, and of course scalability.
6 Service Ontario Staples locations will be ready Thursday, including in Scarborough, Oakville, and Newmarket. 3 more in Leaside, Keswick, and Hamilton will come online later this year. A Service Ontario counter at this shopping centre in Mississauga is one of those shutting down. Its hours have been 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, closed on the weekends. This new location in Oakville will be open 4 hours later until 9 p.m. on weekdays and 9 to 5 on Saturdays. Minister Todd McCarthy says it's what this announcement's all about.
It's an investment in families, in family-friendly hours, in more ample parking, in online booking opportunities.
An investment of $1.75 million taxpayer dollars to retrofit Staples stores to set them up with Service Ontario counters. New Democrats can't understand why hours couldn't have been extended in existing locations.
If they had issues with how they were running their operations, they could have talked with them, but they didn't.
There's also haziness about how much the government is actually saving.
With leasing costs being assumed by Staples Canada in this pilot project means close to $1 million in savings over the next 3 years.
Less than the cost to retrofit stores. And people we spoke with are mostly warm to the change.
Oh, I think it's a great idea. Again, with availability, you'll be able to go in and get it done so much faster than waiting in lineups.
Just gives you more options.
People should be consulted. I really do believe that. But anyway, what do you do? What do we do?
Something the opposition echoes.
As usual, decisions are being made without transparency, and the decisions are always going to benefit a select very few on the backs of the many.
McCarthy says procurement rules for a pilot project were followed. The government's also exploring the possibility of Service Ontario counters in public libraries down the road. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Thunder Bay Fire Rescue responded to a house fire in Westfort early this morning. Fortunately, the 2 occupants were able to evacuate soon after the fire broke out. It happened around 6 a.m. on South Ford Street on the 2nd floor of this residence. A timely 911 call by a passerby allowed fire crews to arrive at the scene quickly enough to put out the blaze before the home sustained major damage. One of the occupants was taken to hospital by ambulance due to smoke inhalation. No other injuries were reported. Fire rescue officials are reminding homeowners to ensure all smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are in working order and never to smoke in bed. A longtime Thunder Bay lawyer has been appointed as a judge of the Superior Court of Justice of Ontario. Stephen Wojciechowski was called to the bar in 1990 and has spent most of his career as a partner with AirU barristers working as an insurance litigator. Meanwhile, the province has appointed 2 new justices of the peace in Thunder Bay. Coral Klein stepped down as principal of Westgate Collegiate to assume her new role on the bench. The other new JP is Julie Denise Goulet, a longtime probation and parole officer here in the city. Learning with a purpose and for a good cause. That's the theme of the new partnership between the RFDA and Confederation College. Students in the Culinary Management program are taking part in a new food production course focused on helping feed those who need it most. Riley McManus explains.
The Regional Food Bank and the college are working together to not only better the students' skills, but the community as a whole.
This is a tremendous opportunity for our students to learn something that they don't necessarily get to learn in a lot of instances. They have a bunch of product that they need to turn into meals, and we have students that need to learn how to do it. So it's a perfect partnership right now.
The students take their learned knowledge of cooking and expand it by preparing for larger amounts than ever before. Around 700 to 800 turkey dinners with all the fixings will be handed out at the end of the day. The forces behind the creation of this combined program were Tanner Harris with the RFDA and Culinary Program Coordinator Ken Veneroos.
I was kind of passionate about it because I think I was like a lot of people in Thunder Bay who are a bit ignorant to what goes on. Because we're very fortunate, some of us, and there's a lot of people who are less fortunate. So when we realized the demand and the need in the community, this program, this class, production cooking, fit the bill.
Harris, who is a Confederation College alumni and is currently the food services manager at the RFDA, expands on the importance of a program like this.
These students can kind of see firsthand where this food is going, and kind of makes them feel good about doing something good. I think they're really going to start feeling that sense of pride in the work that they do.
The passion was felt all through the kitchen as the students worked together to deliver healthy meals to those in need, with each knowing their role in the production line. Angelina Mancuso is a first-year student with the program. She says she loved the experience in learning something new.
It feels amazing that I'm able to be a part of something like this because it's such a great cause, that we're able to do this for people in need.
Both organizations agree that what they have currently is working, but of course are always thinking of the future.
I think down the road we will be able to do more with the RFDA because they're expanding their operation.
The combined efforts of both the RFDA and the college shows the devotion to helping others by providing meals for the less fortunate, while the students learn compassion and beneficial cooking skills for their future. Riley McManus, TBT News.
It's not looking good for the 45th annual Sleeping Giant Loppet, which is scheduled for March 2nd. The popular cross-country ski event is in jeopardy as unseasonably warm weather and a lack of snow have resulted in some rough conditions out on the Sibley Peninsula. Organizers will make the final call on February 7th, but unless conditions improve dramatically, the Loppet will be canceled. It would mark just the second time in nearly 50 years the races have been scrapped due to the weather. The Loppet typically attracts more than 700 skiers of all ages and abilities. Coordinator Peter Gallagher says the rocky paths need a deep layer of snow to be made safe, and he's not optimistic about the long-range weather forecast.
We need a snowstorm. We probably need 30 centimeters of snow, we really do. The trails at Sleeping Giant are much rougher, for example, than the trails at Cambie Nordic Centre. So it takes a lot more snow there to make the trails suitable for skiing.
Gallagher says skiers and event sponsors have been understanding, but he notes a lot of work has already gone into planning the event. If the Loppet is canceled, Gallagher says a Camview tour on March 2nd could be held in its place. That event was originally scheduled for earlier this season, but was also canceled due to the lack of snow. Well, local downhill skiers and snowboarders, on the other hand, took advantage of this weekend's warm weather. Loch Lomond and Mount Baldy saw a steady stream of people on Sunday, all enjoying the unseasonable January temperatures. Jessa Clement has that story.
Sunday's weather was in Loch Lomond's favor as the hill was packed with families who wanted to enjoy the slopes. And the conditions were perfect for its first slopestyle competition of the season. Snow School Director Andy Goss says the hill has most of the runs open except for 3. The Jolly Giant needs to be packed down before opening up, and he says they're hoping to get that done by this week. While the Chicken and Old Joe's runs need a bit more snow. Thunder Bay has been warming up again, with Sunday seeing a high of 2 degrees. However, Goss says they're not too worried.
It's not the best. I mean, it's going to make it nice for skiing and that it's going to soften up the snow. We're hoping it doesn't get too warm. I mean, it does get cold at night, which is nice, so it tightens things up. and then softens up during the day. I mean, we've almost got perfect spring skiing conditions this upcoming week. So.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Mount Baldy also saw a steady stream of people come by. Baldy has most of their bigger runs open, but is also waiting for more snow to open up the rest. Like Goss, Baldy office manager Emma Johnson doesn't think the warmer than normal temperatures will be an issue.
At this point in the season, a little bit early for January with the warm weather, but honestly, Dan and the rest of our crew making snow every day and usually most nights as well are working hard to get new snow out there, and I don't think it'll be an issue for now, and I think it'll be pretty good.
And we spoke to skiers and snowboarders at both hills who said they were happy to make the most out of the warm weather.
The weather is super good for skiing today, and it's just really good.
Perfect. Yeah, it's very warm. Like I just had my jacket off when I was going skiing. I just put it on.
Very good. I was getting too hot.
The snow is really packed, so it's easy to ski, not like when it's fresh snow and it has to be paved.
It's really nice out today. It's a great day for skiing, and the snow's pretty nice.
I saw it on the weather app. It's really nice. It's just a nice day. I thought it would be a nice day to maybe make some plans with my friends.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
So a bit of a good news, bad news situation for local skiers as we bring in Haley Perreault. Haley, obviously you can have that man-made snow on the downhill runs. Not quite so easy for the cross country as we see there with the Loppet. So of course a lot of people want to know, is there any snow in the forecast?
Yes, that is the big question, and it is a good news, bad news sort of answer as well. We had a high of 0 today, which isn't very conducive to any snow, that's for sure. And it was a mostly cloudy day with periods of light snow here and there, but with those consistent warm temperatures, snow may come in light batches, but does not stay in significant amounts. Our low was around 6 a.m. this morning, and it was -11, feeling like -15 with the wind chill. So once again, not very conducive to what we typically see at this time of year. As we look across the region, certain areas like Red Lake is getting light snow right now, and their high of the day they reached at around 1 p.m. and that was -1, so they've stayed there for a few hours now. Kenora had a bit of a foggy, misty day, they're at 0. And then areas like Fort Frances and Dryden, cloudy skies, 2 degrees in Fort Frances right now. As we look into areas like Armstrong, they experienced periods of light snow within the past few hours. They're at -2 currently. Greenstone under some more foggy, misty skies, -1. And then in areas like Marathon, their high of the day was 1 degree, but they've cooled off 1 degree and they're now at 0. And then in areas like Sault Ste. Marie, their high today was 2, and they've had light drizzle since around 4 o'clock, but that's now clearing up to just cloudy skies. As we look at Thunder Bay's evening, 0 is consistent through most of the night, with the wind chill only making it feel like -4. It'll continue to be cloudy with about a 60% chance of flurries, which is slightly higher than we've been seeing, but once again, it'll be very light flurries that could turn into freezing drizzle as we get into the early morning hours, and winds not very significant at all. So unfortunately, Ryan, snow isn't coming in abundance for all of our cross-country skiers, so hopefully we can see more smiles on the faces of those downhill skiers.
Yeah, that's they're maybe going to have to head downhill in order to take advantage of some of that weather. Okay, thanks a lot, Haley. Well, turning our attention to national news now, MPs are back in Ottawa as Parliament is back in session following a 6-week break. We'll have details regarding what's on the agenda right after this.
Urging all MPs to support the Fall Economic Statement Implementation Act, to do so quickly so that we can get the work done for Canadians